I'm Jeff Fritz with SoundStage.com, and I'm joined today by Michael Hedges. He is the Technical Director of Monitor Audio based in the UK. Michael, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you.
I appreciate you joining me today, and I wanted to talk about a product launch that you guys had just recently, and I know you're shipping products and rolling these speakers out around the world presently, and that is the Flagship series from Monitor Audio, the Platinum, and this is the third generation, so they are the Platinum 3Gs. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Platinums today. The first question that I have, Michael, is just kind of give us an overview of how the Platinum 3Gs were developed. You know, I know by the time you get to a third generation, it's a pretty refined product already. So tell us a little bit about the development of the new speakers.
Yeah, like you say, third generation of products are a really sort of privileged place to be. And it's really great and exciting thing to do, to take that sort of second generation and see how you can improve it and push the boundaries further. So yeah, it's quite a complicated thing because you don't want to break a good recipe. So you want to find the parts of that recipe that you can sprinkle some extra love and magic on and really refine the product that next level. Now, that's not to say that everything with 2G is perfect, but it's a great product range that won some awards in the marketplace and was doing really well. So taking that and moving it forward to the next level. So what we do with most of our product ranges, all of them really, so we start with asking ourselves, what's the strengths, what's the weaknesses of the design? We take that internally to all of our internal customers, but then we take it out to our distribution base and our customers, end customers in this case, and really ask them, what did you like? What didn't you like? Where could we do better? And we take that through from the full product to the packaging and every aspect of that user experience chain. And so we had some key outputs of that we were able to focus on and look at improving the product in. You'll notice that this time the front of the baffle of the products changed quite considerably. We used to have a leather front baffle. It's now moved to a wood front baffle with then new aluminium support rings around the drive units and trim elements there. And we've added some inlays onto the cabinet, a few other embellishments in there. We've also done some substantial changes to the plinth. There's now an outrigger assembly of feet with a hidden adjustable foot assembly in it. So we've taken some of those aspects of the design that were, maybe seen as weaknesses, where it's very hard to say, when they're working and there's something that's good already. A weakness isn't necessarily a detriment, but it's something we could do better with, and we've looked to improve it. That's really talking about the aesthetic side. There's a lot of technology underneath that we've changed and developed. Crossovers internally have been completely redeveloped, and we've done lots of work on the drive units as well. But I think we'll get onto that in some of your further questions.
Yeah, and that actually is a good segue into my next question. Looking at the Platinums, I'll tell you, when the first photos came out, particularly, I think it was the 200 3G in white finish that I saw first, and it just looked amazing. The aesthetics to me were just about perfect for that size loudspeaker. And so my question is, did you guys put more development into the external or into the internals, the drivers, the crossover? If you had to kind of gauge which was more substantially redeveloped, how would you answer that?
So on any product range we do, but specifically Platinum, the actual amount of development time and engineering time that we dedicate to the product doesn't really change a huge amount. So although it looks like there's a lot of similarities between this and the last product, what happens is you end up spending your time on more and more detail. So the acoustics team, the transducer design team, has spent a lot of time refining the design of the drive unit further to get extra elements out of it, to refine it into those extra sort of layers of detail. And it's through a process of virtual simulation that we really dig into that ability to extract more performance. And I think this is the magical thing with acoustics at the moment, that we use dynamic drive units that have been around for 70, 80, 90 years. They've been around for a long time. There's lots of papers written on them. People have tried to do amazing things with them in the past, but until recently, they didn't have fully multi-physics simulation tools, and that's just accelerated our ability to optimize drive units. So we've been using multi-physics simulation, physically coupled simulation tools for 15 years nearly now, And this is the second generation that's ground up developed from a virtual simulation process. That's where we basically simulate the electrical input through to the acoustic output, the tweeter, the mid-range, and the bass drivers. We then take those simulations, which are an infinite baffle simulation. We wrap them in a cabinet. We look at the baffle step. We get the response of each of those drive units. We then take that and we put it into a simulation software for doing crossovers. We design and engineer a crossover for that system. We then basically look at how we can improve the drive units to make the crossover simpler. We refine the crossover, refine the drive units, and we go around that loop probably 50 to 100 times. So it's a really detailed engineering design. What we're looking for is, okay, look, if I could have the Q of this filter, if I just reduce it slightly, that would give me a slightly better phase response on the crossover. What do I need to do to the drive unit to actually enable me to make that change in the crossover? And we go through those processes. So that takes time. We do that on every loudspeaker, but when you start with something that's already quite good, you get that extra time to really refine into it and dig into the detail. And it's only from there that we then get our first engineering samples, which are the end of hundreds of driver prototype virtual simulations, and probably 20 to 50 crossover simulations. And we tend to get those into the listening room. And within one or two crossover iterations, we're fairly happy with what we've got. Not to say that we stop there, because I think we were 19 to 20 crossover revisions per speaker on this particular product range. So we being a platinum, you don't stop at 99. You try and keep going.
So it really sounds like the development process, in a way, it was, I guess, to the just to the consumer, it does look like a refinement of the previous line. But what you're really saying is, I think to some degree, it's really a brand new loudspeaker. I mean, if the loudspeaker drive units were redesigned, the crossover is looked at, all of these details, the cabinet I know was re-engineered. In a way, yeah. It's kind of a brand new thing, right?
I think the reality is, I think there's only about 3 parts that are the same as the old product. I think there's the mid-range chassis, bass driver chassis, and the terminal panels. I think there's probably 1 or 2 items I've forgotten them there, but the reality is there's a lot of engineering and re-engineering. It doesn't mean everything's massively different. Like, a lot of the drive units externally look very similar, because a lot of the larger aspects of the drive units, the motor systems, the magnetic systems, were working very well. So there was only a need to refine them, not completely change them. But yeah, there's lots and lots of elements in here that have been completely ground up redesigned. And I'm more on the technical side. My background's transducer engineering, but I lead the whole R&D team, and so we've got the mechanical engineering and industrial design team in there, and they spent a huge amount of time on the industrial design of the product and the fit and finish and the quality of it. Our quality engineering team has spent a lot of time making sure this product is repeatable. You can buy many pairs. We can manufacture many pairs, and the quality is the same high standard every single time. And that all just takes time. And it's only through these robust engineering practices and methods that we really get to that high quality standard that I think Marshall Audio is known for from an aesthetic point of view.
So, I think the consumer can easily see some of the changes on the outside of the speaker. The speaker, like I said, I really think it's a beautiful line. What do you hear when you sit down and you listen to the speaker? When you heard it in its final form, what were your impressions?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question. I think being an engineer and being really close to a loudspeaker is often very hard to be very pleased. And I mean that in the sort of the challenge is that you want to make the best loudspeaker possible. I want to be able to hand over, when you review this product, I want to be able to hand over to you a product that's going to excite you and show you new aspects of the music, show things that you've never heard before, engage with you. We call this our transparent design philosophy. We want to create a speaker that when you're listening to the music almost disappears, because it's so natural, and its ability to produce the music is so natural in a sense that use the same word twice, but and so when I'm sitting in that listening room, listening to the loudspeaker, I'm looking for all these aspects. I'm looking for it to have great bass extension that's articulate and has strong attack, but it's not overblown. I'm looking for the mid-range to be consistent and smooth with no artifacts in it, no resonances in there. I'm looking for the treble to be able to produce high dynamic ability. So, when a drummer hits a cymbal, if you're there at a live gig, those cymbals can go loud, and the tweeter needs to be able to do that without any compression. But also it needs to be smooth and refined throughout the rest of the region. So I'm looking for all those elements. I'm looking for SoundStage. I'm looking for it to have a really consistent SoundStage that's got a sense of depth and height and width, extends a little bit past the loudspeakers, integrates with the room properly. And it's only when all of those boxes end up being ticked that you start sitting there and go, you know what, actually, I think we're getting there. I think we've got a loudspeaker here that really is something special. It takes some time. And because you're in those listening sessions, I said earlier, we went between sort of 19 and 22 crossover revisions. That means we spent months in the listening room going back and forwards and changing things. And that's not just over a period of months. That's in some aspects, you get to a point where actually the change we need to make to a drive unit, which means reprototyping drive units. So it can be quite a lengthy process.
So just to sum up the Platinum line, there's the 100 stand mount, the 200, which is a mid-size floor stander, and the 300, which is the largest floor stander. And then you have an in-ceiling Platinum and an in-wall Platinum and a center channel, if I didn't mention that. Is that a good summary of the line?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the last question, Michael, I really, you guys are renowned for your research and development, and you just detailed quite a bit of that in the Platinum line, but I know you guys are always working at Monitor Audio on refining products, coming out with new products. What are you guys working on? What does the rest of 2023 look like, and even into 2024 for Monitor Audio?
Yeah, really exciting year, actually. We've just been to ISE, and there we launched 19 new architectural loudspeakers. So 15 in ceiling, 4 in wall. We launched a range of installation amplifiers. We've also picked up on Platinum 3G. Obviously, we're in the process of launching that. And we're about to launch our new statement loudspeaker called hifi. So we've announced the name. We've shown some photos of it at ISE. This comes off the back of Munich last year, where Jeff, yourself, you listened to the Concept 50s. So we're going into production with that. And so, in the next few months, there'll be a launch for that product range or product. And I'm super excited because it's a point at which you can say, hey, look, this is everything we think we can do with a loudspeaker. We weren't worried about money. We're not worried about time. We just want to do the best job we possibly can and show people what we're up to. And there's some amazing technologies in there. There's some great stuff to talk about. And I can't wait to actually talk to the world about those technologies, but also see where we can take those from there. What new products are going to spin off the back of that 24 and 25.
Well, I'll tell you, I do remember that listening session in Munich. And I have to say, the imaging capabilities of I guess you would call it a prototype at that point in time, it was eerie. It was just so amazing. And I recall that listening session to this day. So I can't wait to hear that, not to get too far ahead of us because we're talking about the Platinums, but yeah, I think that you really whet the appetite of a lot of people with that demonstration in Munich last year. Well, Michael, listen, thank you so much for a peek inside not only the Platinum loudspeakers, but Monitor Audio and what's going on, at the company. I really appreciate it. And Munich is right around the corner too in May, and I can't wait to see what you guys have there as well. But Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. It's absolutely brilliant to be invited on and talk about our products.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.